Hi guys, welcome to Benola's House of Yum, and we are cooking again. So today we are making shakshuka. Let's say this properly, shakshuka. So for a while I actually used to make the dish, but I didn't know what it was called. Obviously I was much younger and not really into this cooking thing. But it was mostly about throwing things together that you normally have in the fridge when you don't have a lot of food, which is perfect for our circumstances right now, right? So all that I have here is the things that you normally have in your kitchen. So as you can see, we've got some chopped tomatoes over there. Mine were fresh. I had a bunch that was left over, but you can also use tinned tomatoes. So that would be about two tinned tomatoes. And then over here, I've got a mix of spices. Now I've got a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of coriander, a teaspoon of chili, which might be a bit on the much side, but you decide. And then I've mixed them together, and that's the spice mix that I'm using. I've got 2 spoons of garlic over here. I've got some green peppers. I've got some sliced onions, some feta that I've just broken up with my hands, my salt, ever faithful, and we've got some olive oil over here. So the other thing is that I just need to bring to your attention, in terms of the oils that I use, I will always interchange, right? Depending on what I'm using the oil for. But if you have, for example, a canola oil, it's also good. You can use that as well. You don't always have to use olive oil for everything else. But if you have it, use it. Why not? And then I've got eggs over here. So I've got 5 eggs, right? And later on in the video, you're going to see how I struggle to crack eggs. So please don't laugh at me. Pretty please. So yeah, this is all that we're going to need to put together the lovely shakshuka. So now the thing about shakshuka is you can eat it on its own, as part of a brunch, with some bread, and sometimes when I'm lazy, I would actually make rice or something like that and eat it with rice. You'll see it's actually very, very nice, very easy to put together, quite quick, and it tastes very good. So let's go off to the stove. Okay, so I've just put my gas burner on at quite a high heat for now, and then I'm just gonna sprinkle some oil. As you can see, it's quite high. I'm just gonna take the temperature to a medium, right? Because now we're going to be frying off a little bit of the onion. So we're gonna start with the onion. What we want to do is we want to just make the onion a little bit translucent, a little bit see-through, a little bit softer, because I've made quite big slices, and that's because I don't mind the onion. If you want to use chopped onion and you want to use a smaller cut, a smaller chop, then go ahead and do that. So the tricky thing about sauteing onions is normally just before they are good or they get to the point you want to use them, they start to burn. So what you need to do is you need to ensure that your heat remains constant, right? The unfortunate thing is, depending on the type of pan you're using, sometimes the temperature does go up the longer the pan is on the stove. But luckily for me, I am using a gas stove, so I'm getting a very consistent heat, and my pan is made of aluminum, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to give it more or less about 5 minutes for the onions to be cooked through, a little bit translucent and a little bit softer. So we are almost there, and you can see it's translucent, but we've also got brown little bits. That's the thing I was telling you about. Falling into the same trap I'm telling you not to fall in. Anyway, I'm going to put my green peppers in now. And the green peppers, it's really not a cooking thing that we are doing. We just want to get them a little bit soft. And I'm not going to give it a lot of time, because the reason I'm putting in the peppers is to have a little bit of a sweetness in there. So the onions will have the oniony taste. The green peppers will give like a little bit of a sweetness. If you have red peppers, use those. They are the best. But I just had a leftover green pepper, and that's why we are using a green pepper. And then I'm going to put garlic. So this is a lot of garlic, because I love garlic, and because, as you can see, we're going to use, or as you've seen, we're going to use quite a lot of tomato. So you want the proper flavor of the garlic. You don't just want a hint of garlic. You want it to go all the way. So we're just going to fry that off a little bit as well, just to get the garlic flavoring the onion and pepper mix. And then we'll be ready with our tomato. Okay, now we're going in with the tomato. The alarmingly big quantity of tomato. But I want a lot of shakshuka. And there's a lot of people that live in this house, and since we are in pre-lockdown, everyone is always hungry. So I want to have the right amount on every plate. So, right, that's the tomato. Now comes the important part. I need to now season my shakshuka. So as I've said, we've got a mix of the coriander, the cumin, and the chili in here. And I've got some oregano, as you can see, the little green that you see is oregano, and I've got black pepper as well. So I'm going to use this to season the shakshuka. I've put quite a lot of chili, as I've said. If you want it less spicier, then just maybe decrease the amount of chili that you put on in your mix. I like mine spicy, and so does everyone else in this house. And for the salt, we are literally just going to season to make sure that it's not bland. The tomato has been cooking, or the whole relish has been cooking for about 5 minutes now. So as you can see, it's actually started to break down. It's starting to look more like a sauce, né? So we're gonna let it go for like an extra 5 minutes because we want it to be like extra saucy. Break it down a bit further. So we're gonna let it go for an extra 5 minutes, and just remember to make sure that your heat remains constant, because if it gets higher, you're going to find that it's going to become stiffer, that your mix will get stiffer. So 5 more minutes of it just going, and then we will do the rest. Okay, this looks ready. Now I am going to, as my cameraman just said, pop the eggs, because literally that's what I do. It is like, it's hilarious. So I'm gonna hide that from you. You're not gonna be able to see it. So what I need to do is I need to make little cups where I'm going to be fitting in the eggs, right? because that's how you make shakshuka. Now, as you can see, I've made 5 little cups. And now I'm going to do the egg popping out of frame so you don't see it. And then I'm just going to put the eggs. It just gets worse. Just gonna put the eggs in the little cups that I've made. All 5 of my eggs. So depending on the size of your pan, if you've got a bigger pan, then you'll obviously be able to put in more eggs, right? And I really wish that you are more successful with your eggs than I am. Because as you can see, it's becoming a whole bath of eggs here. But I don't mind that, and I'm well aware that I don't have that skill. So if you've got a bigger pan, then you'll be able to use more eggs. So now we're going to let it go so that the eggs can cook on top of the sauce that we've made. We're going to let it go for about 5 minutes or so. So if you want your eggs to be a little bit runny still, on the medium side, 5 minutes will be fine. If you want them a little bit harder, about 8 minutes will still be fine. But remember to keep the heat constant still. So you're not literally frying the eggs, you're cooking the eggs in the sauce. So the lovely salty and spicy taste is going to then infuse your eggs, and that's what you want. So I'm not going to season the eggs because, as you can see over here, I've got some feta. And I'm going to use the feta as a little bit of garnish, and because feta is salty, it's going to give the salty taste or the seasoning type to the eggs. So I'm not going to put more salt over the eggs as well. So now we're going to let it go for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back when we're ready. So now my shakshuka is ready. As you can see, I wish you could smell this because this is absolutely amazing. It smells absolutely amazing. But as you can see, my eggs are a little bit softer. I'm going to show you just now. I'm going to poke through one of the eggs with a quarter of a slice of bread or something like that. So I've just turned off my stove, and now I'm just going to garnish the shakshuka with some feta. So as we've said, the feta cheese is also going to give a little bit of a salt to the dish. And most importantly, the eggs, because that is the part that we all like to over season. Eggs love salt. Everyone knows that. And feta is pretty salty, so if you put the feta on top, like so, or if you want to do more, like me, and on extra, then you'll have the lovely salty taste. I've got some Italian parsley over here. Cut it not really as thinly as normal because I want it to be a little bit rough and rustic. I like that. And as you can see, just try and ignore my hand. It's actually quite good. It looks very good. But I want to show you that my eggs are still a bit runny. Let's break in. There we go. My eggs are still a bit runny. And I have to taste it now because I've done that. Okay, that's amazing. So that's basically it. You've got 10 minutes of you making the tomato sauce or the relish. And then you've got 5 minutes if you want soft eggs like mine, or up to about 8 minutes if you want harder or more medium or harder eggs. And that's basically it. And as you can see, if you want to present it as is, to just take the let's do this so you can see, right? If you want to present it as is, to take it to the brunch table, it's fantastic to have all your guests scoop it out for themselves. And if you are going to eat it on your own, like, not, I'm not alone, but me and my cameraman are going to eat it, then we're not even going to move it from here. We're just going to eat it right here. So as always, we're going to put the recipe for you below the video, and then you can do the step-by-step thing and you can try it out. So it is one day before lockdown, so this is one of the things that you want to try just before you run out of things to make, right? Enjoy. Thank you very much for watching.